More than 1,100 people have been killed on both sides since the war broke out on Saturday when Hamas rained thousands of rockets on Israel in a surprise pre-dawn attack from Gaza. In the latest, Israeli forces said that they hit over 500 targets in Gaza overnight, which they say severely degrades the capabilities of Hamas group. The massive retaliatory strikes came in even as Israeli leaders warned of a long and difficult war. The Israeli military, it's also amassed 100,000 reserve troops near Gaza. The troops say that they will make sure that Hamas will not be able to govern the Gaza Strip, hinting at a possible full-blown invasion of the Gaza Strip. The development came in as Israelis were hunting down the last Palestinian fighter who had infiltrated southern Israel. Hamas, on the other hand, has criticized the United States for sending a naval strike group near Israeli waters, calling it an act of aggression against the people of Palestine. President Joe Biden ordered U.S. warships, including an aircraft carrier, to move closer to Israel in a show of support while sending fresh military aid. Israeli authorities have confirmed 700 deaths, including at least 260 bodies that have been recovered from a music festival site. On the other hand, Gaza officials reported at least 413 deaths. Multiple foreign nationals have also been reported dead. 10 Nepali students have been killed. The Thailand government says 12 of its citizens have been killed in Israel, along with citizens of France, Cambodia, Ukraine and the UK. An unspecified number of Americans have also been killed. Mexico stated at least 2 of its citizens are thought to have been captured. The Hamas militants launched a multi-pronged attack on Israel from air, land and sea on Saturday. The fighters left a trail of dead bodies on Israeli streets as they roamed at will, killing and taking hostages. With an eye on bargains, over 100 Israelis have been taken hostage by the militants. Many in Gaza celebrated the surprise attack on Israel, while Tel Aviv vowed mighty vengeance. Israel also came under attack from the north. Hezbollah, a powerful armed party backed by Iran, said it launched guided rockets and artillery onto 3 posts in Sheba farms in solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Regrettably, history for some media and politicians start when Israelis are killed. Our people have endured one deadly year after another. We chose the peaceful path to achieve our rights, but Israel continued using blunt force against Palestinian lives and Palestinian rights. Israel cannot wage a full-scale war on a nation, its people, its land, its holy sites, and expect peace in exchange.
New Delhi, along with many Western capitals, dubbed Hamas's actions as a terrorist attack. Meanwhile, Israel's foes, including Iran, have hailed the militant group. Meanwhile, anti-Israel protests have flared in Iraq, Pakistan, Turkey and some other nations.
یک جلوه‌ای از مقاومت و ایستادگی در مقابل رژیم پوشالی صهیونیستی که حقیقتاً این پیروزی رو باید به مردم فلسطین، به مجاهدین فلسطینی، به همه گروه‌های فلسطینی و به امت اسلامی تبریک گفت.
Now, the October 8th strike came half a century after the outbreak of the 1973 Yom Kippur War in Israel. Analysts are flagging intelligence gaps, which undermined what was thought to be an aggressive and successful led approach towards Gaza by Israel. For more on this, we have with us our correspondent Jody Cohen, who's been covering the conflict from the ground. Jody, thank you so much for joining us. To begin with, what can you tell us of the situation on ground at the moment? What are the measures that have been brought in to ensure safety and bolster security?
So I'm in an underground community bunker. Now Hamas has sent in a further 70 militias into Israel, most of whom have reportedly been killed, and the fighting continues in 6 border towns. In Israel, 70 soldiers have been killed and 1,000 civilians dead. Just to put that into perspective, because of the population size, That's the equivalent of 33,000 Americans or 140,000 Indian civilians killed in a day. Now, the US anti-Semitism envoy has said that this is the most lethal assault on Jews since the Holocaust, and an IDF spokesperson has compared it to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor combined. Now, Hamas has taken 100 hostages, Islamic Jihad has 30 hostages, and they come from numerous countries: the US, Brazil, Mexico, China, Nepal, Thailand, Cambodia, the US, UK, France, Germany, and others. The youngest as 9 months, the oldest that is known of 85 years old. In response, the IDF has hit more than 500 targets, including Hamas and Islamic Jihad war rooms, high-rise towers and a mosque housing Hamas assets, and terror tunnels. And the IDF is warning civilians to take shelter. They've cut the transfer of electricity, fuel and goods into Gaza to try and limit their capacity to strike Israel. And as the IDF says, that they've killed more than 400 terrorists in Gaza, and hundreds more in Israel have been killed or taken prisoner, including the Hamas Navy deputy commander.
Jody, let's also talk about the reactions and the responses that have been pouring in. What can you tell us of the different reactions to this conflict?
Have been coming in from all over. Foreign Minister Eli Cohen has said that more than 80 countries have expressed their solidarity with Israel, including India's Prime Minister Modi and El Salvador's president, who has Palestinian roots. He said that Hamas were criminals. Now, in Lebanon, Iranian-backed Hezbollah have joined in the fighting, firing rockets into Israel. And they said that that's a message to those normalizing ties with Israel. The UAE has said that they're appalled by Hamas taking civilians hostage. Hamas said that assistance from Iran helped it carry out their attacks, and Iran is saying that this is all Hamas, but that they support Hamas in doing so. The US has announced that they've deployed an aircraft carrier, aircraft and ships to the region, and further munitions to Israel. And officials expect Israel to launch a ground incursion into Gaza within 48 hours. Now, Benny Gantz, who's the head of one of the opposition parties here, he says he's willing to join an emergency government with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we're hearing that lawyers for Netanyahu and Gantz are meeting today to discuss that.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.